Hello and welcome to the CV and Cover Letter online session. The aim of this session is to help you understand what a CV is, to understand the basics of creating a good CV and cover letter, and to enable you to confidently write your own CV and cover letter. It is said that your CV is your voice in your absence, so it must really be well structured to fully represent you. Let's start with what the word CV actually means. We all know that CV is short for curriculum vitae, but very few know that CV is Latin for the story of life. It is therefore important to give this the honor it deserves. Always remember that your CV and cover letter are your greatest marketing tools. The CV does not have to be lengthy. Most recruiters require a 2-page CV. It is important to remember that any good CV has the following information: your personal profile, personal details, educational background, and references. Here are a few tips before you start designing your CV. Keep in mind that you are aiming for a comprehensive 2-page CV. Use single-line spacing. Use a simple business font, for example, Arial, Calibri, or Verdana, with size between 10 to 12 points. Use the same font and letter size throughout. Split your CV into sections. Use bold or italics to emphasize text such as job titles. Use bold points, numbering, and dashes. Keep the following 2 questions in mind when drafting your CV. Why am I the right fit for the position? And how will I add value to the organization? This will assist you in tailoring your CV. When highlighting your professional experience, use accomplishment statements rather than descriptions of your role. Let's look at the following example. Listen to the first paragraph and reflect on the impact that it has. For my final year project, I had to carry out a survey on the impacts of climate change on rural farming. This involved interviewing rural farmers throughout KwaZulu-Natal. A database was used to keep track of data collected. This project was finished on time and was awarded 82%. Now listen to the second paragraph, which makes use of accomplishment statements. Devised and prepared a survey on the impacts of climate change on rural farming as my final year project. Interviewed 70 rural farmers from 10 rural communities and obtained a substantial amount of data. Created a database to analyze and interpret this material. Completed this project 3 weeks ahead of schedule and achieved 82%. Can you see the difference when you make use of accomplishment statements and action verbs? For more examples on action verbs, refer to page 9 of our handbook, which is available online. Now let us look at an example of a good CV. Sarah Linda Parker is a new graduate who has no work experience. Sarah realizes that her greatest marketing tool is her degree and all the skills she learned therein. Note the following about Sarah's CV. She uses her space well. Her address is neatly at the top of the page. Her personal profile is clear and briefly highlights her qualification. She immediately focuses the reader's attention towards her degree and the subjects she completed. She draws attention to the practical skills she learned during her degree. In doing so, Sarah lets the reader know that she is capable of working in the lab using those skill sets. Sarah also reflects on the additional learning during her degree. For example, teamwork, communication, and leadership. Can you draft your CV using Sarah's CV as a template? Now let us turn our focus to cover letters. Cover letters are said to add warmth to your application. It forms a part of your application and is sometimes referred to as a motivational letter. In order to create your cover letters, you should be mindful of a few basic rules. Cover letters should not be longer than a page. It is approximately 450 words. It must be divided into 3 or 4 logical paragraphs, and it must have a formal salutation and closing. Now, let us look at an example of a cover letter. Cover letters generally follow a global norm. If you look at the format of the cover letter, you will note the following. The cover letter is divided into logical paragraphs so that you can arrange your thoughts properly. It is structured and has both your address and the recipient's address. The cover letter introduces who you are and why you are well suited to apply for the job vacancy. The cover letter seeks to build a rapport with the organization and emphasizes why you are perfect for the job. This example of the cover letter can be found in the CV Writing Handbook. To summarize, cover letters contain the following information. Paragraph 1. This paragraph mentions your situation and what you are applying for. Paragraph 2 mentions why you want to work for this organization. If you use the name of the company, all the better. Paragraph 2 is your rapport building paragraph, where you get to show the company that you have researched them. Paragraph 3 must answer the question, why should we hire you? In this paragraph, you need to justify on how you met the requirements with examples from your past experience. List the top 3 or 4 attributes and sell your unique points. Paragraph 4 is your concluding paragraph that politely ends on a positive note, reflecting your interest and enthusiasm. Thank you for taking the time to watch our online resource. That concludes our session on CV and cover letter writing. To book a session with the Career Development Officer, kindly contact Karuna on mahadave@ukzn.ac.za. UKZN wishes you well in your every endeavor.